Hey, I'm Kai, and today we're going to have a sort of chill session, just playing around with my Rockerverb. I have a fair amount of guitars. Let's put each one of them through the orange Rockerverb to see how it handles them. We'll be tuning down, down some more, down a little bit further than that, and we'll also be hearing some pretty clean tones along the way. I'm going to talk through each of my guitars and dial in a quick tone for them using my Rockerverb 100 Mark II into the Zilla 2x12 Fatboy with creambacks. I'm not going to be using any pedals for this demo, so while some of the lower tuned guitars would definitely benefit from something like a boost, I will save that for a future video. This one's just going to be the raw amp tones. So what better place to start than with my number one guitar? This PRS S2 has been with me for nearly 8 years now, and as you can tell from the relic, it's been used a ton. This guitar has stayed at the number one spot consistently for the whole time that I've owned it, despite me getting some objectively better guitars through the doors. I bought this one when I was in college, I gelled with it massively, used it a ton throughout my whole time at college, gigged with it many times, and took it to rehearsals 3 or 4 times a week for about 4 years. All of the finish off the back of the neck had to be stripped off entirely, so it's down to the raw wood with true oil and wax. It feels fantastic. It's on its 4th set of pickups. I've now landed on the Seymour Duncan Pegasus and Sentient set, which I may go as far as to say are my favourite set of pickups I've ever tried. I've currently got this guitar tuned to drop C, which is really where the Rockerverb shines, so let's hear a Rockerverb doing what a Rockerverb does best: heavy pop punk. Now this sentient pickup in the neck also sounds incredible split, so I'd be doing the guitar a disservice if I didn't show that off with some clean tones. So from my lightest guitar to my absolute heaviest, this Sully Baritone Elita is an absolute unit. 27-inch scale length and a black limber body make this guitar a whopping 11 pounds. This one is bone stock and I love it that way. It's so thick and the chugs are fantastic. It's currently tuned down to drop A sharp, so let's hear it. Okay, so we're taking baritones to the next level with this guitar. This is the Harley Benton JA Baritone, which has got a 30-inch scale length. Now, this guitar absolutely rips. I bought it hoping to cure some of the gas for that Squier vintage modified baritone that Loathe were using, and this guitar absolutely delivered. It's still completely bone stock, and I love it that way. My demo of this guitar did really well, and for good reason. These guitars are fantastic. So the 30-inch scale means we can tune all the way down to drop E, which sounds huge. It's also got P90 pickups, which, while noisy, sound aggressive and punchy as all hell. Let's hear it. Right, enough of these super low tunings for a minute. We'll bring it back up to a normal level with this Balaguer Aether, which is currently tuned to drop B. Now, the story behind this guitar, I scored it stupidly cheap on the used market by setting up some eBay search alerts. I managed to grab this one for £350 instead of the new price of £1,100 or the normal used price of about £800 to £900. I am seriously enjoying this thing. I'd probably go as far as to say it's objectively my best guitar. That is to say, if I were to hand someone one of my guitars and say, this is my best guitar, this would probably be it. While I do love the PRS S2, I think that's mostly due to sentimental reasons. The Balaguer Evergreen pickups in this one are very vintage voiced, which actually works really nicely for the sort of chuggy metal thing, sort of like Gojira do. This next guitar is a bit of a DIY strange one, the sort of parts caster type that everyone owns. For me, this started life as what I believe to be an Epiphone Les Paul, but all of the paint was stripped and it had no hardware to it or anything. It needed a lot of work. So the first port of call was to get my brother Alex to refinish it in this lovely sort of colour shifting teal. I'm not sure how well it's going to pick up on the camera, but it switches between teal and purple and it's lovely. After that, I kitted it out with all of the hardware. We've got a roller bridge, we've got locking tuners, and we've got a Guitar Marie Polaris set. These pickups actually sound fantastic. So after chugs on chugs on chugs, it's quite nice to have something of a palate cleanser. This GTRS S900 is the closest thing I have to a Strat, so we'll hear it in the neck and middle position. Of course, we're going to be going for the clean channel again here. Forgive me for sounding like everyone else on YouTube at the minute, but the Revstar truly is one of the most underrated guitars of this generation. I don't think it'll be too long before we see Yamaha making some more big moves in the guitar space with the Revstar series. Now, I mainly like this one for the standard reference point sound. It's such a classic sound that's good across the board and just sounds great regardless of what you plug it into. Initially I wanted to grab the P90 Revstar, the RS502. However, this one came up on such a good deal used that I couldn't pass it up. I do want to dial in a couple of tones for this one, so let's start with a sort of low gain crunchy rock thing on the high gain channel. Okay, now let's try and dial in a sort of pretty clean tone using the dry switch in the neck pickup. Staying with the dad rock vibes, there's nothing more dad rock than my actual dad's guitar. This is the Tokai Love Rock DC2, and we believe it to be a custom shop. From what we can tell, based on a web archive of a single Tokai website from maybe 15 years ago, this was a custom shop 1 of 6 for a UK dealership run. However, with no paperwork and no paper trail to follow, even after contacting the head of Tokai, we're left without a clue of what this actually is. So while this guitar may be a complete enigma, it does sound fantastic. There is one slight issue with it though. I'm not sure how well this is going to come across on camera, but the side dots blend in with the side of the neck, and since it's got the Tree of Life inlay, you really can't tell where you are on the guitar. Taking it right down into the uber low territory once again, we've got PRS SE's only current production baritone, the SE277, which has a massive 27.75 inch scale length. Now this guitar actually feels super vintage, with one of the biggest necks I've ever felt on a guitar, so maybe putting in the Iron Gear Steam Hammer pickup set and trying to get it to do modern brutal things wasn't really what the guitar was designed for. However, I still love it, and as it was a gift from my boss, I will treasure this forever. We're down in F sharp for this, so let's get sludgy. We've now got one of the more unique guitars in my collection. This is the Solar A1.6 FBB29, a 29-inch scale modern metal guitar with an Evertune bridge and the Duncan Solar pickups. This one's also tuned down to drop F sharp like the 277 was, but thanks to the Evertune bridge you don't get any of that awful pitch drift sound going on. I've already started to tear through the finish of this guitar after only owning it through a year, around where I pick. This is because the Evertune bridge lets you really pick as hard as you want. Let's hear some of that through this Rockerverb. The penultimate guitar I have to show you is this GuitarBass VS from Harley Benton. This one's also been modified to within an inch of its life. It's definitely one of my quirkier guitars, and a lot of poorly planned mod projects meant that this guitar isn't really what it should be, and I don't play it as often as I should, but it is still a hell of a lot of fun. I am sad to see this one sort of take a backseat to the Harley Benton JA baritone I showed earlier, mainly because I put so much time, effort, energy and work into this one, only for it to not play anywhere near as good as another £175 guitar. This one was also refinished by my brother Alex in this wonderful purple. He also refinished the pickguard in charcoal as well, and I think they look really nice together. The Iron Gear rolling mill PAF style pickup in the bridge of this one sounds fantastic, so let's hear that one. Finally, we've got my most recent addition to the lineup, this Ibanez RG560. I'm still getting my head around this one. This guitar has been in my family as long as I can remember. All of my brothers have owned it, and my dad's owned it, I've owned it a ton of times. We sort of passed it around back and forth for years, and now it's finally landed in my hands once again. This started life as an HSS guitar, but after the original pickups died and all we had to hand were these EMGs, we routed it out for these EMGs, added a battery box and added a custom pickguard for it. It looks rough, but it plays great. You'll also notice a pretty awful relic job pretty much all the way around this guitar. That was 16-year-old Kai thinking that a natural scraped binding would look cool. No. There are a ton of other quirks around this guitar that I'd love to get into in a future video, but for now let's just hear it as is. Now, since it's got EMGs, we also have to dial in a rhythm tone for this, so let's hear it on some rhythms too. So that is my whole current crop of guitars through the Orange Rockerverb 100 Mark II. I hope you enjoyed this one, and thank you for sticking around to the end. I do really appreciate it. Now, if you want to check out my full demo and review of the Orange Rockerverb 100, there's a link on screen and in the description box for you to do so. If you enjoyed this video, please drop me a like, drop me a comment, and drop me a subscribe. It really goes a long way to helping me out. Other than that, that is everything that I've got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Kai. Until next time.